In today's video, we will be going through American Horror Story. Piggy is the 6th episode of the first season. Let's get started. In 1994, the shooter has opened fire at Westfield High. Kevin Gidman, student who survived the initial onslaught, flees to the library and informed his fellow students in the library that there is a gunman in the halls. The students barricade the door and hide in various places around the library. The door handles rattle, but the barricade holds. The students don't move and listen to the gunman's footsteps. Their accompanying teacher realizes that the gunman is approaching a second entrance. He darts up and slams himself against the unlocked door, barricading the closed door with his body weight. There is a moment of silence before the gunman shoots a hole through the door, crippling the teacher. Tate pushes the door open, then walks around the library executing the students one by one. After his massacre, Tate returns home. The Los Angeles SWAT team arrives and Constance answers the door. An officer asks her if Tate Langdon lives there, and she confirms that he is her son. The SWAT team enters the Langdon home and heads upstairs, where Tate is waiting on his bed. They target their guns on him, and he mimes putting a gun to his head, and quickly reaches for a gun, but is shot down immediately. In 2011, Violet searches online for information about the Westfield High massacre, and finds the list of victims in Tate's picture as the shooter. Frantically searching for her mother, she finds Constance waiting in the kitchen, who has deduced Violet has discovered the truth about Tate and the ghosts, and introduces medium Billy Dean Howard, who is there to help Tate move on, as she isn't aware he's dead. Constance explains that is why she wanted Tate to see Ben. Constance and Billy Dean want Violet to help them get Tate to move on beyond the end. In order to convince Violet, who is still skeptical of ghosts in general and Billy Dean's abilities, Billy Dean passes on a recollection from Mary, Violet's dead grandmother. Dreaming Vivian rubs her pregnant belly, while a cello plays and strange handprints appear from her womb, giving her pain, waking her up, and causing her to press the panic button. Luke comes to check out the house and deems it safe, but mentions that Hayden didn't make it back to the police station. Ben has moved out, and is back now for a therapy session in his office, despite Vivian wanting him gone. But they come to a working arrangement. Violet begins to self-harm again, and imagines herself cutting her throat. In order to kill herself, she sees a vision of Tate, who asks whether she is scared now, and then disappears. Ben's new patient Derek is terrified of urban legends, particularly Piggy Man, a pig butcher from Chicago in 1893, who wore a pig mask while slaughtering them. The pigs tore him apart after an accident, and his former customers were dismembered. He can be conjured by anyone saying, "Here piggy pig, here piggy pig pig," into a mirror. Violet enters to talk to Ben, and is beside herself saying that the darkness is eating her up. Ben believes she is talking about the breakup of her parents, but in reality, she is struggling to cope with her newfound knowledge of Tate's actions, his death, and the realities of ghosts. As he comforts her, Ben unknowingly calls Violet by Vivian's name. Vivian is looking for Nurse Angie, who quit. While Maura cleans, Constance enters with a gift of pieces of pork meat, raw organs for Vivian to eat for her pregnancy. Maura, as she prepares the food, tells Vivian that Ben will cheat again. Ben works with Derek again, using a successive approximation in Harmon's bathroom. Derek tries the pig call, and a bloody Gladys appears in the tub, believing she is Mint, since she is overweight. Vivian gets an amniocentesis. Violet sees Leah, who has become her friend, at the deserted swimming pool turned unofficial skate park. Leah warns Violet that the devil is real, and talks to her about the Book of Revelation and the Red Dragon. As neither of them is sleeping, Leah offers Violet some of her sleeping pills. Violet goes to the school library and sees the plaque commemorating the massacre victims. A teacher in a powered wheelchair discusses the incident with Violet, who wants to know why Tate did it, and the teacher thinks Tate just wasn't a good person. Vivian tries to fire Maura because there's no money to pay her, but Maura agrees to work for free. Vivian cautiously eats the whole brain broth sent by Constance, and discovers she enjoys it. Violet comes home and catches a glimpse of Tate, following him to the basement. She encounters the ghosts of Troy and Brian, Gladys, Fiona, Dallas, and Charles Montgomery. Terrified, she runs upstairs to her room, and finds that Tate has put her iPod on for her, and written "I love you" on her chalkboard. Scared and confused about her feelings, Violet attempts to commit suicide by overdosing on the sleeping pills Leah gave her. Tate finds her and drags her to the bathtub, trying to revive her whilst crying, successfully making her throw up some pills. Ben is in session with Derek, who has met a woman, but is too scared to pursue her. Ben challenges him to confront his issues in order to be able to start a relationship. Vivian finds Angie in a church, who has turned to Catholicism after claiming she saw the Antichrist in her womb. Vivian believes the woman is insane. Derek calls the Piggy Man in his own bathroom and ironically dies when an overweight robber hiding behind the shower curtain believes that Derek is aware of his presence and shoots him in the head. Constance parleys with Billy Dean, who thinks Adelaide is mad at Constance. Constance says she has one last thing to say to Adelaide. Adelaide says through Billy that Constance should have treated her better. Constance apologizes to Adelaide and tells her how proud she was of her and her beauty. Adelaide says she knows and is grateful that Constance didn't get her to the lawn of the old house, but is now afraid of Tate. Back in 1994, Constance wants to talk to Tate, but Tate goes for a hidden gun under his pillow and is riddled with bullets by the SWAT team in response. An officer asks the dying Tate why he did it. Tate tries to say something but dies before he can. Violet had borrowed a book on birds from the school library that Tate took out previously in order to understand him, as the school teacher who got shot had told her that Tate used to read books on birds. As she finds Tate's name on the register, Tate appears and asks her if she's going to tell her parents about the overdose. He confronts her about how distant she is from him now and wants to know if she wants him to leave her alone, admitting he is in love with her and will stand by her decision. Violet calls him to her and they lie down on her bed in the same room in which Tate died. Both exhausted, episode 6 ends here. If you like the explanation, please subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks for watching.